Now we'll work on core stability, which you can do some of these, but I would not progress them too far on your own until you go to belly breathe one day and you realize you already are belly breathing. Okay? So the first one that everyone can do is for those deep neck flexors. These are, remember, midline core stabilizers all the way up here. Easiest way to do this is to give yourself a very attractive double chin, like this. Sexy, right? So when you do this properly, you want to think of your jaw. This is your jawbone. These are our teeth. We have pointy teeth right now. Sorry. So, see, this is what a T-Rex's jaw looks like. All right, so you are going to think of it as sliding back, all right? It is a sliding, gliding, straight back movement like this. We're not adding in any flexion, even though they're deep neck flexors. To start, we just want to turn them on. We just want to activate them. So you give yourself a double chin. It should be difficult if you tried to swallow. You should feel it deep in there. It almost feels like it wants to cramp, okay? You're going to hold this for 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and you're going to relax. And then you're going to do it again. Now, when I give these exercises, will not give you a 3 sets of 10. You're CrossFitters. Come hell or high water, you will do 3 sets of 10. So I want you to this first time, not right now, but when you start doing them, you're going to do them and keep track of how many it takes you to fatigue. Because anything after fatigue is a wasted rep. All you're going to do is recreate some kind of bad movement pattern. So some of you will start to feel it after 4 or 5. Others might take 8 to 10. You're going to do 3 sets of those. And they don't have to be right away. I just want to make sure you get 3 sets per day in. The car is a great place to do them. Sitting at work, sitting in class, those are all great places to do them. The only thing to be mindful of is if you are in the car or you are in a chair that has a headrest in it, make sure that you are still double chinning, not pushing back. It's very easy when you have something supporting your head to think that you need to push back against it, and that's not doing anything for our deep neck flexors. Okay? To progress this, once you can do 3 sets of 15, 3 sets of 20, and you're not really feeling that anymore, and you notice that you have more of this straight, neutral neck posture, then you're going to add that flexion into it. So you're going to give yourself the double chin, and then you're going to flex. That's flexion right there. You don't have to touch your chin to your chest. Those are different movers, okay? This is just retraction, and then flexion. Same thing. Figure out how many it takes you to fatigue. 3 sets of those throughout the day. When you want to advance it even more, you can grab a band. You can tie it to the rig. You will make yourself look like a ninja. This is a good look for me, right? Okay? You'll step back. You're going to create a little tension. You're going to double chin and then go down. Retract. Go down. Right? Watch your rib flare when you do this because you're going to be straining a little bit more. You don't want this. Pull it down. All you're doing is adding a little resistance. And we're not trying to get your deep neck flexors jacked. We just want them to work properly, okay? For the cervical region, that's it. Thoracic region, it's mostly mobility and your breathing. When you can move up here, your shoulders and your scapula will start to function more efficiently. Your breathing is better. So now we go to the core that everybody thinks about as the core, okay? There are 7 billion different exercises and videos on these core exercises. The very first and most basic one that everybody will start doing from now on, forever, is you are going to learn the pelvic tilt and you are going to brace, okay? Bracing just means, again, Steve's about to come up and punch me in the stomach. I better be ready for it, okay? You're pushing out. If anyone's ever taken yoga and they tell you to suck in, this is bad. This is backwards. We want you to go out, okay? One of you two come here, because I know you have abs. Come.
I've got side abs. James, go.
James, come. Join us. Yes. Okay, so just go ahead and lift up your shirt. Oh, look at that. All right. Oh, so now suck in. All right.
Just suck.
He's skinny. Look at that. But hey, look at it. We're sucking in. Now push out. Look at that. Core. That's core stability right there. You want to push out. Okay? Very good. Thank you, sir. That's all we need. Go ahead and hit yourself. You will brace very, very quickly. All right? Grab a partner during the workouts and say, hey, just come up to me and poke me.
When you properly brace, you technically should feel it all the way around.
Yes, you will feel it. When you brace, you're getting 360 degrees of core stability, okay? So that's everything. Versus just trying to tighten your abs, that's the front. What about the back? We want protection of your organs, we want protection of your spine, so brace. I don't care if you're doing biceps curls. I don't care if you are hanging. If you are deadlifting, squatting, snatching, overheading anything, kettlebell swings, you better be braced. Because when you brace like this, it's very hard for you to lose anything here. You can't lose that good posture. You can't round out in your low back. You know, you can't do that if you are braced. This is very protective when you're doing workouts, especially heavy workouts. Weight belts, I'm not a huge fan of them. I think that people use them incorrectly and that oftentimes they are a cheat. Sometimes they're necessary if you're doing like a crazy max, but the way they are used properly, it's a neurological cue. They're not supposed to be so tight that they hold you in so that you can brace like that. They're supposed to be there to remind you to push against them. So you are bracing and pushing outward against the belt, okay? So if you must use a brace, use it that way. That is one of the most basic things you can do. Adding in a pelvic tilt is going to increase that. So what we're gonna do really quick is just run through a quick progression of dead bug exercises, bird dog exercises, and then planks. If you do these bracing and planking exercises, you will have incredible abs and you will never have to do another crunch again. Really just a fun thing. If you were to train your whole core, what would be the hardest part for you to get? What is the hardest part that anybody who's ever done any kind of swimsuit workout to get? Yes, lower abs. The reason is that pelvic tilt, even if you're bracing everything here and you're holding those ribs down, they're still long. So remember, if they're long, by very definition, they cannot shorten. So we want to tilt our pelvis to put these muscles in the position that they function most optimally. So we're gonna run through the dead bug. You can go from dead bug to bird dog to planking. If you cannot do dead bug exercises, you should not be doing bird dog or planking exercises, okay? So the very first one for the dead bug, that's very easy, and it's not even technically a dead bug. And if you didn't know, dead bug exercises are called that because when you start moving your arms and legs, you look like a dying bug. But I digress. So one of the easiest ways to start activating your core is in this face-up position, holding a ball, and you are going to squeeze with your arms and your legs. And you're going to hold that. It's just an isometric or non-lengthening, shortening exercise. Okay? So that's the first one. Now getting to the true dead bug. So these will go from easiest to intermediate to most difficult. So again, facing up, we've got our knees bent, arms here, and we're going lightest limbs to heaviest limbs. So step one, we're going to bring those ribs down and flatten out our back. Easiest way to do that, remember, is to brace. There we go. Everything is locked down. Now I won't get any rib flare. There's no arch in my back. My spine is safe. So we go here. You're going to go one arm up overhead, other arm up overhead, slide the leg down, slide the leg down. You should be able to do those without losing that core. When you can do those, we make this one harder by going opposite arm and leg. Now, to move to the intermediate level, you're going to bring your legs up 90-90. If this is difficult, use a chair. Well, you could use something on the side, but you should be able to hold this position and move your legs. So again, we go arm, arm. This easy one is here. The more difficult one would be to go here. Then you progress it. So we're going to go opposite, opposite. If you're doing the easier one, here, here. Now we want to make it more difficult. We're going to straighten out our legs, okay? Then we go arm, arm, leg, leg, opposite, opposite. You can progress this further by holding on to, I would say, a wall ball, but they're very large, very heavy. Swiss balls are great. Smaller medicine balls are good, so like our slam balls. And what we're going to do with this one is the whole time, keeping braced. You never, ever want to lose that. The second you lose your rib flare, or you have rib flare, you've lost your core. If you get that arch in your back and you're starting to feel it in either one of those starred spots up there, ooh, thanks, James. I hope it's like 4 pounds. It is 4 pounds. All right, so same thing. You can do this here and bring it here. You can rotate. You can, oh, I can't even reach my feet. So you can progress these by adding weight, by lengthening your lever arms, so straightening your legs, as long as you maintain that core. Once dead bug exercises are nothing for you, we move to bird dog exercises. Bird dog is this nice quadruped position, okay? Things to remember, we are still bracing. Bracing is going to guarantee that you keep that neutral spine and everything is protected. The big thing here that you want to make sure is that knees are lined up with your hips, okay? And with your shoulders, you don't want any winging here, and you don't want this rounding out here. So you want neutral shoulders, So you're gonna brace, and then if you just rotate your hands outward a little bit, that's gonna lock your shoulder blades into place, which means that you're not really gonna be able to do this without straining. It'll feel awkward. That's a good way to make sure that you're nice and neutral. So, again, we're gonna go from very, very easy, and we're gonna progress it. So, you're just gonna move your hand out to the side a couple inches, other hand out to the side a couple inches, slide your leg, slide your leg. That's the easiest one. And then but you should not see a whole lot of movement in my core, all right? Not in my hips, not in here, not in my shoulders. Everything is like a plank or like a board. So that is the first one. Well, to make it harder, you go just here, out in front, just over, just over. So now we're not sliding our foot. We're just above the ground. Okay? To progress that one, we go here, here, there, there. And then if you find that you're swaying one way or a certain side is more difficult, focus on that side. All right, that's the side you need to strengthen. To progress this one even more, we can change how much we're moving. So now I'm stepping off. You can make it an unstable surface. The Bosu ball is a wonderful tool for unstable surface. So you'll bring your hands in just a little bit more. You gotta have nice, strong core. And I'm probably not gonna be able to do this, so. You're not gonna have that flat back because we're obviously elevating here, but you have to stay braced. That's another way to advance it. Now, once you can do bird dogs, and it's nothing, then we're gonna go to planks. Planks are the best exercise ever for your core because you are contracting these muscles and telling them to work without changing length, which is great because when you're sitting at work, they are not changing length. So you're training them to work the way that they're supposed to, the way they're efficient, and the way that they can protect your organs and your spine without you thinking about it, okay? So, step one is to learn the pelvic tilt. I think it's easier when people learn it on their knees because if you try to teach someone how to pelvic tilt when they're standing, a lot of times you'll get this. Well, that's great, except that when I straighten out my knees, I haven't actually pelvic tilted, I've flexed my trunk. So, on your knees is a much easier starting spot. So, again, our pelvis is a bowl of water. Okay? Right now, we're dumping water out of the front. So actually put your hands on your hips here. All right, now, dump that water out of the front, so we're gonna make a really exaggerated anterior pelvic tilt. And then bring it back to neutral. All it is this quick motion. When you do it correctly, your lower abs will turn on and tighten, and your butt will turn on and tighten. You see why I say you'll get those lower abs? You are putting everything in the position that it works the most efficiently at. So, basics for planking, the planking portion of this is going to be pelvic tilt, brace, hold it, 3 to 5 seconds, relax. Do those. Again, find your fatigue number, do 3 sets in the day, progress it from there, okay? When you can do 15 or 20 3 times and it's nothing, then you're ready to turn it into a plank. We start with a partial plank. So you're gonna get a box or a chair or your couch, okay? You're going to pelvic tilt, brace, and you are not going to lose this for love nor money. Then you're gonna put your elbows on there and you're gonna let your hips sink, okay? Too many people do planks like this. What this is doing, you're allowing your psoas to help. We don't want that. Coming out here into hip extension takes your psoas out of it. So now everything I'm using is my core. This should not be like okay, I'm gonna hold this for a minute and you're shaking like this. You will start to shake. I've been doing it for years, and there are, when I progress it, I still start shaking. And most people will do it, I've found, between 7 and 10 seconds. You will start to shake. You don't want to, again, you don't want this. You don't want this. You don't want your neck to be in a weird position, all right? You want a neutral spine. So we pelvic tilt, we brace, we come forward, spine is neutral, and let the hips sink. If you're unsure of it, let yourself go too far. You'll feel it in your low back. Then back it up until you don't feel it in your low back. Your shoulders, hips, and knees should all be in one parallel line. How do we progress this? We go from a half plank to a full plank. Huh? Then we go to the ground. You can do elbows or hands. Lock those shoulder blades in. We're pelvic tilted, we're braced, and you just hold it. You can change the surface that you do it on. Swiss balls are wonderful. Again, pelvic tilt, brace, elbows. You can take it out. As long as you're not feeling it in your low back, you're doing it correctly. You can do it with your feet. When you really want to make it much harder, you're going to get yourself parallel to the ground. I don't know how many plates this is going to take. We'll say 2, because I don't want to lift anymore. Okay? There we go. So you can keep progressing your front plank, but when you're bracing, you're actually doing something for all of your core muscles. The last one is going to be a side plank, okay? And it's the same thing. Anytime you're doing this, you're going to pelvic tilt, and then you're going to brace. And then you can side plank. You can do a half one. You can do a full one. You can do it on a disc. So, here. You can do it on a Bosu ball and plates, and make yourself parallel to the ground. All of these are just going to increase the difficulty and increase your core strength, okay? When you can do this and not think about it, I guarantee you your weights will go up because you have a stable foundation for everything else to work on. Your endurance is going to go up because you're breathing properly and you're not wasting energy on other muscles. If you're a runner, having core stability means when you run, you're not going to have that hip sway here. You're not going to lose energy going out at the sides. So you're going to be able to run more efficiently, farther, faster, less out of breath. Your posture is going to improve. I mean, the changes that you will notice in the gym and in regular life are going to astound you. So, with that being said, there's always ways to progress it and make it harder. So if you ever have any questions, just grab me. Are there any questions for right now? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for suffering through this, and I hope it was worth your time. Yay.